So a lot of people always ask about what's the difference between the MX and the SX. Now both of these are slightly modified. I did just swap everything over into my MX, but I'm going to tell you guys the differences of the bikes first and then the upgrades, or vice versa. So right off the rip, the SX is lifted with a 235 rear shock and MX front forks. So it just gives the handlebars just slightly larger lift, and an MX front wheel to keep it on the same. SX come with a 10-inch front, but we're rocking the 12-inch front. So right now I have hydraulic forks on my MX and a 190 mil rear shock, or hydraulic shock, and as you can see they're about the same exact height right now, which is pretty cool. Now let's talk about the differences. So one, the battery area is a little bit tighter, as you can see where the shock runs up through the top side of the battery case. But if you look on the SX, it sits way further back. Big thing that gets overlooked is the length of the bikes. So front wheels are pretty much at the same spot, but if you look at the back, like how much further out the MX is. So that's a big thing with making the bike a little bit more stable at higher end speeds. Seating, you can see that the SX is way wider than the MX. I'm also using CRF 50 plastics, so don't worry about these being a bit wide. They're usually very slim, but the seat in itself, you can see my hand here, and then see how much bigger this is. Now, besides the shock location, we're going to talk about where you mount the shock to the swing arm. So you can see there's a hoop behind the motor, whereas the SX, you don't have that hoop. Another big thing is the front fork design. So on the SX is very narrow and close to the chassis, whereas on the MX it sits way further out. So you can see the gap right here, and then if you look at the gap here, super close. Naturally the SX sits higher, but like I said, they're both slightly modified, so the MX is sitting pretty tall. There's a weight difference, so the MX supposedly holds up to 220 pounds, whereas the SX only holds 200. They're the same thing, guys. Don't believe that. The battery area is slightly larger on the SX, but where it is on the MX, you can actually fit a Surron battery like sideways into an MX. You can't do that on an SX. Even though the SX battery area is bigger, it's just a different area of space. And that's pretty much where the difference is. And they have the same drivetrain from factory, so they're both 500 watt 36 volt bikes. Don't believe the MX650 and 500, there's nothing different besides the colors. So that's just all hype and to get you guys to spend a lot more on the bikes. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. The bikes are very fun, and I highly suggest if you're going to do it now before these things get too expensive. This bike will be for sale, so probably going to sell it with the Zoom brakes and the lift. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments. And with that, catch you on the next one. Peace.